Hello, YouTubers! It is again another video vlog about my experiences working at Nightmare on 13th, that is located on 3rd West and 13th South. Or you can also find it on 13th South and 3rd West. It's not right on the corner there of 13th and 3rd, or 3rd and 13th. That's there's like a Mexican restaurant there called Nacho something or other. I think it's Nacho Libre. And then there's like a cash loan checking place. And then there's Nightmare. And it's a big castle looking building with a big monster. I was telling you about what's inside. His name's Slayer. And sometimes you will see me out there swinging a flashlight and dancing. And that's how you find us. Take the 13th South exit off of I-15. And there we are. This is week 4B. 4A, I was discussing I had been Sparky the Zombie. No, I was parking. I had a day off, and I was Sparky the Zombie, then Chainsaw, and I was discussing how I would most likely be doing. I was going to be doing parking. I was assigned to do parking on Friday the 5th, and I was acting on Saturday the 6th. So on the 5th, I indeed did parking, and it was a really good night. I had a good time. There was a bit of a controversy over who was going to be on point. That's the position I'm usually at, where I'm swinging the flashlight and directing traffic into the attraction, into the parking lot for the attraction. Um, because they had scheduled like all the guys that like are really good at doing parking all at once, and so me and my fellow chainsaw buddy Zach, we were kind of arguing about who was going to do point, and it wasn't like a fight, but I didn't want to get stuck doing something else, and he didn't want to get stuck doing something else. But he agreed to do something as long as it was like away from the building, so he could smoke while doing his job, and that was fine with me. And then Jamie came. Jamie is in charge of all of us parking guys, and he came and told me that neither of us are doing um, parking. He had other people lined up for it, people that were new that he didn't know how well they'd be, so he wanted to put them on point. And so he said that he was going to put me at Nacho, is what we call it. Just you're at Nacho, and that's by the restaurant. And the whole job there is you sit around and you tell people they can't park anywhere in that area, or they will get towed. And so it can be really boring. So he says, "But you can sit there and smoke your cigars." I'm like, "I don't have any cigars. Can I go buy some cigars?" He's like, "Hurry! I'll let you go get some cigars, but hurry!" So I go speeding off. We're right next door to a very large Walmart. So I go into the Walmart to go to the smoking lane, and it is packed full of people in that one lane buying tons of groceries. And you know, at the beginning, there's someone with a coupon book that's sitting there. I've got a coupon for that. I've got a coupon for that, and price match this and price match that. So I just ran out of there, went and found the nearest smoke shop, and bought my favorite brand of cigars, which is Backwoods cigars. They look all like they look hand rolled. I'm sure they are hand rolled, but really nice little cigars. And drove back, and then once I get there, I'm told, James is like, "I have some bad news for you." I'm like, "What's that?" He says to me, he says, "Troy asked me why you weren't doing point," and I told him why, and he says, "No, Alan's doing point. Alan is on point." So when I say that I do a good job doing point, when I say every time when I go parking that I'm on point, this is from the owner of the place. He wants me on point. He wants me there. That's where he wants good old Alan to be. If I'm working parking, that's where I am. Mmm. This is Pepsi Next Paradise Mango, and it's not. Tastes like mango, but still Pepsi. Um, And that was how it went. Pretty uneventful night. Nothing seriously bad happened. It was very busy, as I would expect it to be. And worst thing that happened is a woman was on her cell phone in the left-hand turn lane to get into the attraction, and she wouldn't turn. And so I waved her in. She didn't come in. So then, as more cars passed, and then she had another open spot, I step out into the street a little bit and try to wave her in. She's not paying attention. So I let a few more cars pass, and I just, I noticed that there's like 12 cars behind her waiting to get in. So I stopped traffic and direct her in, and that I think finally comes. I shined a light right at her, and she went in. And that's the worst thing that happened the whole night, other than people being rude and honking at me and yelling like things that you can't understand because um they're just yelling and the wind's blowing and they're going in a car, so you can't understand them, but they're sitting there yelling at me. Um, yeah. So, I'm babysitting right now, and the kid just came in here and is all like, I was about to get in my stuff, so I'm like, go get out of here, go watch TV. And the next night came, and I was supposed to be acting, so I was all kind of like a little bit super prepared for whatever might be. I was wearing my bright red pants in case I was actually doing parking, and so I'd be outside. And I also had my black shorts on my shoulder. And I had a jacket on in case I was outside. My vest was in the car in case I was doing parking. I had my contacts in. And I was all ready for whatever come what may. I was thinking I would probably do Chainsaw or, Sparky again. I just felt like that was what my year was gonna be, was like Chainsaw, Sparky, stuff like that. And I get up to the front of the line and there's Jimmy there and he's like, I'm so excited where I put you tonight. Oh, I don't know why I haven't put you in here before. I just suddenly realized I need to put you in this room. You're in Clown Maze. And I was like, oh, I've arrived. I've arrived. Let me tell you, there are 6 clowns. 6 clowns in the clown section. There's 3 sections. There's Netherbeast, there's Cirque du Fear, and there's Zombie. On the doors of the dressing rooms we have upstairs, the dressing closets, there's one for each section of the house with character breakdowns on it. It has a picture of the character and everything you need to know about that. Suggested lines, what they do, what the character background is supposed to be. And Netherbeast has like I don't know exactly how many because I never pay attention, but there's a few characters and I don't think there's a lot. There's 6 clowns, and then Zombie. It's like like I don't know how many characters there are, but there's a lot. And that's why like a lot of people get Zombie. I have seen people like, I really want to do clown. I really want to be one of the clowns. I really want to do clowns, and I haven't done it yet. And it's like, dude, everybody wants to do it. Yeah, they just have to wait your turn and hope, or you might not get to do it. I mean, I had a friend, Rob, who, when I first started out there had been vampires the year before, the first year I was there, and last year. This year there are no vampires, and that's fine with me. But everyone wanted to do vampire. That guy had waited 6 years to do vampire. He said never was allowed to do vampire, and he got to do it one night, and it was like the happiest night of his life that he got to do vampire. And I could care less because I've never wanted to do vampire. But everyone else, I want to do vampire. I want to be a vampire. I want to do. And I'm like, really? I don't understand why anyone wants. Because it's all. And then you gotta talk in some sort of fake language. Yeah, you gotta sit there and talk in a fake language. A lot of people do. I just don't find vampire. I don't like going into the vampire rooms, and I don't ever want to be a vampire. The reason why I don't want to go into vampire rooms is not because I'm scared. I don't find them at all scary. Um, I just don't like having people coming at me. It's like, dude, once you get this close to me to pretend that you're gonna bite me, what are you gonna do then? You jumped the shark. You know, you're not gonna bite me. So I don't know. And that's what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be off-putting, especially like they want kind of androgynous dudes in there, guys that could kind of be like a little effeminate. You know, is what they really want. So they can come and kind of like hit on the guys to make them uncomfortable, or the girls can just make everyone uncomfortable because they're all like, I'm sure some guys think, oh, hey, hey, what's up? But never like going into the vampire room. I think it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're not gonna bite me. You're just gonna do whatever. I hate vampire rooms. I don't think vampires are scary. I don't think they're interesting. I tried reading Interview with a Vampire. I'm like, oh, this book is dumb. Vampires are so dumb. But at any rate, so yeah, everyone wanted to be vampire, and everyone always was requesting to be vampire, and it's kind of that way. Everyone wants to do clown, which is great. I think they should have a few more clowns. I think there's room to put a few more, but that's not my business. My business is to do what I'm told and to get the job done and give the best performance I can. That's my job, is to do what's expected of me and to try to do it as best I can. And at any point try to excel if I can. So I was put in clown maze, and the girl doing my makeup, I think her name was Caitlin, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But she got kind of like didn't know what to do. I think that my having like a short beard kind of threw off because I saw like this guy by the name of Matt. He has a nice long goatee, so they painted his all green and they made him look kind of like a jack-o'-lantern with a green beard, and it was pretty cool. But she starts just doing my face on orange, so it looks kind of like I had like eaten a plate of spaghetti by doing that. And the ultraviolet reactive orange, and then she did orange around my eyes, and nice, cool little shapes. And she did freehand. She just did it all freehand with like no set idea. She just did it, and it looked pretty good. And she's like, I want to put pink on you, but I don't know where to put pink. And I'm like, it's pretty obvious where you would put pink on a clown. Come on, do the nose and pink. You know, if you don't have like a bright red, do pink on the nose. And so that's how I looked. And then I had a stupid wig that I really hated. It was big and spiky, and it was very heavy. It like made me sweat so much, and the hairs would kept getting. This is why I hate like wigs and fake hairs because it was getting into my eyes and into my mouth, and I was avoiding panicking because it's one of my problems. I have issues with fake hair. But I was able to make it through. In fact, when people come through and say, I like your hair, thanks, here you go. I'd give it to them. I had a lot of good comedy bits, yelling at people. I was also wearing, just to mention, an old-fashioned clown smock outfit. The old style. You don't see clowns wearing these at circuses anymore. They called it the parachute. Hadn't been worn that year, and they're like, you gotta wear this. They want me also to get like a John Wayne Gacy kind of makeup next time. I was like, you should do it as Gacy. I don't pick the makeup. I don't want to be there as Gacy and get beat up for the, you're sicko! But it's just because I'm chubby looking. Or I'm chubby with a round face. So I'd make a good Gacy style Pogo the Clown. Clowns can get away with murder. He didn't, though. And I was really jazzed and excited, of course, to do clown. And I feel like I did a good job. I had a lot of good jokes. I was chasing people around. You get the occasional claustrophobic girl coming in there, didn't want to make eye contact. I said, don't you look at me. Don't you dare look at me. Just to make them even more uncomfortable. I'd yell stuff at people, random things. It's like, you know what I had for lunch? Potatoes! But something terrible happened. Made the being at Nightmare a nightmare that night. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing my thing. It's really busy, so I'm kind of staying in one spot and kind of pointing people. I'm not trying to obstruct people. I'm trying to make them go in kind of a good, fluid way. And it was just so crowded at that point. And then all of a sudden, the girl who plays, I think the role is called something like a ring jester or a line jester. It's the first clown you meet. I don't think they do a lot of dialogue or anything. I think it's just a pop out, but it's a person dressed as a clown that has this awooga horn from like a car. On the setup this that has a battery pack. It has two flashing lights, the horn, and then there's the trigger to set it off. And the whole bit is she comes out at people, and that's how it works. Well, apparently she had come out on this guy and awooga'd at him, and he had his girlfriend with him, and he just full on roundhoused her right into her face, and even hit his girlfriend a little bit. Is what they were telling everyone. But so in comes this poor woman. Her name's Katie, and she's just like she's got her mouth hand over her mouth, and she's like crying and kind of on the verge of panic. She's like, I just got punched. I think my tooth got knocked out. And so she's kind of like, really kind of upset, and she's getting more and more frantic as time passes on. And I think there's a few rooms. I don't know how she ended up in our room so fast. It must have been like a secret passageway or something. I don't know the layout of the house. And this is where I kind of failed as a person. Is I'm like going, oh, okay, well, I don't know what to do. So I'm trying to help her get out of the maze, and we get out of the maze, and then I'm like, well, that doesn't do her any good. She can't go through the whole house. So we go back to where the ceiling clown. There's three clowns in the maze. There's one in the front, one in the back, and there's one that's on a stage over the maze, hanging by bungee cords. It jumps out down at people, and we went over to him, and this is called the ceiling clown. And he had already waved for security, and my buddy Miles, he was water girl that night, so he comes in and he takes her down to where she needs to be, and they got her to the emergency room. Turns out she didn't have her teeth fully knocked out; they were just bent back into her mouth, and they got them straightened out, and hopefully she'll be okay. But it just kind of really sets the good vibe that you're having when that happens. And for a good like half hour, 45 minutes, I was just not in a good mood about that. And I think everyone in the house, when they heard about that, it just kind of ruined your day. That was bad enough to have to deal with. And when you're a clown, you're supposed to be energetic and like at least kooky, annoying, maybe funny if you can pull it off, maybe scary if you can pull that. If you can be funny and scary, that's even better. But it's kind of hard to do that when you're kind of irritated by it. Like this guy went to jail for what he did. It was an intentional hit, and they caught him because he had blood on his hand. And that kind of just robbed my energy. I was worried I was going to do a bad job. Then all of a sudden, Jew, my the security guard for that section, he comes and grabs me and tells me that I gotta follow him. So I'm following him, and I'm like, uh-oh, I did something wrong, and now I'm in trouble. Turns out that the final clown in the whole section is in the room that we call the black hole, but I think the effect is called the barrel. And it's kind of a throwback to the Funhouse barrel where you walk in it and it's rotating and you're trying not to fall over. Well, this is kind of similar concept but different execution. There's a walkway going down it, and there's a barrel that goes around the walkway with like dots all over it. They're black light reactive, so they glow. And as you walk down it, you lose your equilibrium. You feel like you're gonna fall down. Well, what had happened to this girl is, I don't know. I think like the news about this has gotten to her too, and she was kind of like, "Ooh." Probably spent too much time looking into the black hole, which will make you sick if you're watching that too much. it would probably make you sick. Because I was asked, do you have a problem spinning? And I lie and sit there and say, no, spinning. I can handle that all night. I can handle spinning. So they put me in the barrel, and I'm like, I get motion sickness from playing video games. Super Mario Brothers makes me want to puke. But I had no problem. I tried to keep my eye out of the room, just walking back and forth. Um, had a routine where I pretend to be sick. And I was pretty convincing. People thought I was really gonna puke, and I just and then laugh at them. Or I'd sit there and dance in there, and so while I'm in Black Hole and I'm having a good time, I'm getting people to say bye bye, bye bye, because it's the last clown. We're supposed to like let them know that there are no more clowns after that. Um, in the midst of all this, all of a sudden, there's probably like 10 minutes more of people coming through for the night. The night is almost over. Well, what should happen? But fire alarm, smoke alarm got tripped, and it like as the system works that every effect shuts down and regular lighting comes up, and it's a semi-emergency situation. Nothing bad happened. It just too much artificial smoke had set this sensitive smoke alarm off, and it caused everything to shut down. And so for like a good, I'd say about 5 or 10, maybe even 15 minutes, everything was shut down. I didn't have any people in my section, so I was just hanging out, yelling, "Who used the toaster and the microwave at the same time?" And just sitting there waiting for everything to turn back on. And then it turned back on. Like I don't know, it could have been much more than maybe 30 people came through, and all of them wanted to complain, and they wanted their money back and all that stuff. And I don't know. So that was kind of a bad night. Talking to everyone there, a lot of people were really kind of irritated by how the night went. It makes me feel bad because like even though, like I said, I was down and pissed off for about a half hour, I still had a pretty good night. It was a lot of fun doing clown. I hope I get to do it again. Um, I feel so dumb letting other things bug me the rest of the year and then not getting bugged by even some of the worst things that could happen in a haunted house. Maverick, Jeremy is his name, but we call him Maverick. He said that in the 11 years he's worked there, I think he said 11 years, that was the worst thing that's ever happened. That was the worst night he's ever had there. And it was pretty bad. So it was kind of like this balance of good and bad. I had a lot of fun being in the house. I felt like I got to do a lot of stuff and enjoy myself. And but bad things happen. I have never, and I've only been. This is like my fourth year working at a haunted house. I've never heard of anyone getting that hurt, especially intentionally. I've heard of people getting punched. I myself have never been punched. I've been slapped once, and it was intentional, and I was really angry. I didn't get a very good description of the person who did it, and I heard she had gotten other people. Don't pay $20 to come and slap people around. You can find go to Craigslist and find someone that's interested in doing that for money. Don't come in and pay money to slap people that are just trying to entertain you. Don't do that. And don't punch them, for God's sakes. Don't punch them. There's some people that say don't hit girls, and I fully agree with that, but I go one step further. Don't hit. Don't go around hitting people. We're in a civilized society. We don't need to go around hitting people anymore. It's not necessary. I have never hit someone out of anger. I've never thrown a punch at someone out of anger. Never. I can't think of a single time I ever had. I've had opportunities. I've had times where I've wanted to, but I haven't. I've tried to keep my calm and not let that take over because it just makes things worse. It just really it made everybody angry that this guy went and did that, and it got around. You cannot keep a secret in a haunted house. You can't. If you don't want people to know it, don't talk about it because it flew around. "Oh, someone got punched. Someone got punched. Who was it? Who was it? You know, someone had to go to the hospital. It got around the haunted house pretty darn fast. Uh, I think all's well that ends well. I guess. And, well, I go back to work tonight. Should be acting, and I'll probably be a zombie yet again. Probably, possibly doing chainsaw. I gotta tell you, doing chainsaw on weeknights when we close at like the doors close at 10, it's such a piece of cake. You go in, like, let's say you have to be there at 8 o'clock, and you do half-hour shifts. So it pretty much starts at 8 o'clock for Chainsaw because it's at the back of the attraction. Doors open at 7:30. There's no one in Chainsaw till about 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, and then if you do the first shift, you're there on 8, you're off at 8:30, you're back in at 9, you're off at 9:30, you're back in at 10, off at 10:30. Simple. It is an easy shift. Easy peasy, piece of cake. Couldn't ask for an easier job, except that it's physically demanding. Carrying that chainsaw by the end of the night, it still weighs like, 100 pounds. And I can tell you, after doing parking, then having a day off, then doing Sparky, chainsaw, parking, then clown, Sunday morning, sore and dead tired. Those were the words that described me: sore and dead tired. Pains all up in here, all up in here. My legs were killing me. My back was killing me. And I'm still cracking out my back. So I gotta tell you, working at a haunted house isn't necessarily an easy job, but it's a fun job, and that's why I do it. And that's all I've got for now. So that's the end of week 4. Thank you, and tune in a couple days for the next vlog.